Well, it isn't every day that you get to see me in a vehicle, and sorry about that. I'm traveling quite a bit, and so the home studio is inaccessible, and so we make do with what we can and what is shockingly most soundproof. And you are more than likely familiar, if you clicked on this video, with the situation that has arisen with Mike Israetel.
Like all I feel is rage.
The world-renowned fitness expert with the highest possible IQ.
You are presuming you know more than me about the thing I'm one of the top experts in the world in, and also the thing I'm literally involved in myself. So whatever ideas you have about how I can improve, just right off.
And by all means, he's funnier than you.
There's a very high probability that I'm much better at making fun of people than you are.
Well, his, crazy situation, his thesis for his PhD was dismantled by a channel who goes by the name of Solomon Nelson. Now, a beautiful channel. I gotta say, I've been watching him since he started producing videos, and he has a very good way of producing videos. You can tell he's well-spoken and well-educated. I trust the dude, certainly, and I think a lot of his content is representative of somebody that you could trust for reasonable information. Now, in this video that Solomon posted, which is in a staggeringly, truly amazing, over 1 million views already, Solomon tore apart Mike, talking about the entire thesis. Basically, how the athletes in the thesis were negative years old or didn't even exist yet, and the weights used in this data were lighter than a chihuahua.
For this to be true, given a normal distribution, it would mean that roughly 1/3 of the lowest performing athletes in table 4.6 had a body mass either greater than 145.7 kilos or less than 2.1 kilos, the weight of a newborn. And since we know that this group consists of 20 Division 1 college athletes, this is impossible. But it gets even worse. In table 4.6, 1/3 of the lowest performers was either older than age 41.2 or younger than -1.6, so they hadn't even been born. In table 4.7, 1/3 was either older than age 41.1 or younger than -1.3. Mike does this again on page 94 in table 5.4. As with tables 4.6 and 4.7, the standard deviations for the lowest performers are impossible. Here, 1/3 of the lowest performers was either taller than 3.459 meters, taller than any human ever recorded, or shorter than -6.1 centimeters. As to age, either they were older than 40.4 years of age or younger than -1.4 years, meaning, once again, that they hadn't yet been born. No wonder they were such low performers.
And so much more. Horrible spelling errors, terrible spelling errors, and things that just don't make sense statistically. The statistics, which, trust me, I'm no statistician, but the statistics were fucking horrible. And now this was really bad because you have to realize Mike has been the guy who's claimed to be the most intelligent fitness expert. That's not something I'm saying. He has said that.
I'm both on a raw IQ scale smarter than almost every coach, maybe every coach. And I know more about physiology, body responses, etc. than they do in most cases.
He has said that he's had the highest IQ in the room for a very long time. Now, to not besmirch Mike, he's a smart guy. He's done very good things at large for people. The guidance he's given has provided a lot of results for different people in fitness and trying to make transformations, which is great. But you would hope when you build a multi-million-dollar brand and you sell items, whether that's a service or an item, that product is good and it's valuable, and the value is inherently placed in the qualifications an individual has who is making said item. For instance, you don't buy a Ferrari expecting it to be made at a Ford manufacturer. You buy a Ferrari because it's an Italian-made vehicle that's handcrafted. Well, it's somehow, after all of that, gotten more suspicious because Mike's crew tried to do damage control to make everything basically about 10 times more suspicious. We're talking about potential document tampering, cover-ups, and the kind of panic moves you make when you're not thinking straight. This is legitimately one of the wildest timelines that I've ever seen in the fitness space. We are having back-to-back scandals. It's faster than I can make videos. So here's what happened. Mike's buddy, Milo Wolf, came out swinging, trying to defend him by releasing a video basically where he claims that he has the real version of Mike's thesis, the one that the this Solomon guy didn't have. And in this video, he opens it by saying Solomon is disingenuous. He's a person. He calls for him to be taken down.
The video has gone viral, pulling in over 700,000 views in just a few days. Many influencers have jumped the gun, condemning Dr. Mike for being a scientific fraud.
If you know of or are a fan of science-based lifting, I highly recommend reading Dr. Mike Isertel's dissertation and watching this video.
So, this just happened.
And with that kind of reach, the narrative Solomon presents has become the narrative most viewers will take away. But here's the problem. It's a narrative built on spectacle, not on scholarship. In my view, it comes across more like a hit piece than an unbiased critique. And when you look at the broader context, the pattern becomes clear. To date, Solomon has made more than 10 videos about Mike. That's over 13 hours of content targeting a single person. Topics range from 2-hour collaborations critiquing Mike's bodybuilding performance to hour-long reactions to his surgery, to videos like this one attacking his academic record. A quick look at his views on videos where he features Mike versus his non-Mike content shows an enormous discrepancy in his views. When one person becomes your channel's most reliable source of outrage, views, and income, it raises the question of motive. Then you look at his collaborators. In many of his takedowns, Solomon features or aligns with people like Greg Doucette, Johnny Shreve, and Lyle McDonald, all of whom have long-standing personal or professional grudges against Mike.
At first glance, you might think, oh, okay, maybe Solomon just accidentally got the draft copy. Maybe there was some genuine mistakes made here, albeit Solomon made some really good points and went through some extremely detailed observational stuff to figure out everything that he did. But when people actually opened this thesis, which they did link to the video, they found out that, holy shit, the red flags are everywhere. We're not talking tiny consistencies, we're talking caught in straight 4K footage doing some wildly irresponsible behaviors. The first of many red flags was that document's ownership, the corrected quote-unquote file that Milo released. Well, the owner isn't Mike, it isn't East Tennessee State University, it isn't even Milo. The Google Drive actually shows the owner, and it's pipix.contentious. I'm not even gonna try. It's a content manager. It's a social media content producer who makes content for social media influencers. It's a digital marketing agency ran by a guy in Argentina, a guy named Brian, who does social media content creation for all sorts of creators. But why on earth would Mike's 2013 PhD thesis be owned by his current marketing team? Not, the institution he wrote it for, or himself, or any of these things. The only reason that I could logistically think of in which the marketing agency would be the main proprietor of this information would be that maybe this is some sort of fabrication. Now, this is allegedly and something that a lot of people have postulated. I don't know for sure, but it is suspect. So either Mike's marketing guy traveled back far earlier in 2013, grabbed this document, and then committed some sort of time warp to come back to the current day and just had it in his possession, or something else is going on. Like maybe they tried to clean up this whole thing. The second red flag is the file itself. The PDF Milo released isn't a single continuous document. Pages 1 through 200 are standard Word to PDF exports, and you can copy and paste text. Pages 201 to 223, the ones with the university stamps and signatures, are scanned images. You can't copy and paste because they're just pictures. Why would you need to switch those two separate files like that? If this were the actual thesis from 2013, it should be one contiguous document, PDF. The only reason that you could plausibly do this would be maybe to edit that document and fabricate some kind of reality that didn't actually happen. And here's the thing, fitness influencers aren't great fabricators. They're fitness influencers, so fabrication might not be their specialty. And here's where it gets hilarious, to be honest. The corrected version that Milo released is dated March 2013. The version that Solomon reviewed, the one with all of the errors, is dated August 2013. Let's just say that again. The one that they got to prove Solomon wrong was made before the supposed and claimed draft that Solomon used. So the final was done before the draft somehow. You can't make this shit up. You really can't make this shit up.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Drafts typically get better over time. So you would hope that the second iteration of something would be the better or best version of it, not a worse version of it. And just to top it all off, right after Solomon's video dropped, Mike restricted access to the original version on ProQuest, the university site. He used his author rights to make sure that nobody could access the file and review it for themselves. Why would you do that if you had nothing to hide, or if you weren't ashamed of what you had? That's definitely not the behavior of somebody who should be proud of their work because they've they've built an entire model off of it. They've built an entire income stream off of this concept. And the defenders of Mike are everywhere trying to coat this as some kind of misconception, and ultimately Mike is right. They're wearing rose-colored glasses to miss all of the red flags. They say that maybe the marketing agency just hosted the file for him, and maybe he just misdated the files. Look, this is some real Olympic-level gymnastics trying to justify some odd behavior. When you're talking about a multi-million-dollar agency, not the marketing agency, but Renaissance periodization and somebody's entire reputation, these mistakes should not be able to be made. And ultimately, if they are, that is only more concern for the individual at hand. These people invested money, so much money, into this person. Unfortunately, a lot of these people are just inevitably having themselves invested into Mike. They've invested into Renaissance periodization. They've invested into the products, the books. They've taken the time to read, to consume all that content. And so there's this parasocial relationship that they feel super attached to what this person has to say. So let's be real about this. Solomon exposed the thesis, and it was a fucking disaster. And I think what might have happened is his team ran through the original document and tried to spell check and fix obvious errors. Maybe clean up some of the data tables and release it as quote unquote the real version, while claiming that Solomon somehow got the old draft. But again, they're not professionals at this kind of thing. We're talking about the Mike and Israel files, okay? We're not talking about some truly big scandal here. So they fudged some numbers. They fudged quite a bit of them. The saddest part about all of this, the true point behind me making this video for you here today, is that it is so easy to persuade millions and millions of people, get on some of the world's most famous podcasts, work with some of the world's most famous influencers, and have nothing to stand on. You can build an empire on questionable behaviors and credentials, and no one bats an eye. Mike used those 3 letters, the PhD, to shut down criticism so many times, to sell products, to position himself as the highest IQ in the room, and when it got exposed, it put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Now here's the reality. Mike recently made an Instagram post saying that, hey, turns out, after, trying to defend the final draft that Wolf came out with, after trying to defend that openly on Instagram, call people names, say really horrible things, threaten people, and have content taken down, he actually came out and said, hey, you know what, guys? Solomon's video, it was correct. That was the appropriate thesis. He actually has the right one. And hey, guess what? People make mistakes. My errors were very large in that, and it is what it is. Sorry, guys. And everything is just supposed to be okay. As if we didn't try to run other people's names through the muck, as if we didn't try to say that we were the experts and this was all a miscommunication. If we really acknowledge the problem here, nothing's changed. Even saying that you've made the mistake of claiming that the thesis was wrong and that it actually turned out to be right, the thesis is still garbage. And the entire credibility of an individual can be questioned at this point. And Solomon made a really good example about the institution in which he had submitted that to and gotten a PhD from as being sort of a PhD mill. It's something that people do to get the 3 letters and call it good and just get on with their day, because we know a PhD on a resume, on a video, on a title, on an Instagram handle does numbers. It does numbers. It ain't a pair of jugs, and it's certainly no anime mommies, goth anime mommies, just to be clear, but those 3 letters help. Now, I don't necessarily know how to tell you to pursue the content online that you do and who to trust. I don't think you should trust anyone, genuinely. I make content because I think it's fun. I have no quarrel with somebody saying that I'm a bad person or I've done bad things. I have no right to even claim that I'm an expert in anything. I just have experiences. Whether I do have letters behind my name or not, I just have experiences, and sometimes I share those with you guys. This is a massive, widespread problem with the fitness industry, and I don't really understand it. I really don't, because it's almost unique to this industry. But I'm curious as to what you guys think. I really do appreciate every single one of you that watches these videos. It means the world to me. And if you click subscribe, it actually does truly, it does truly help out this channel. I really value you, all of you, on a deep, very personal level. And I couldn't thank you enough for being here, watching this video, watching any of my videos. It does do so much for me as a person to know that there's people interested in what I have to say. And I hope that you as well find something in life that makes you feel good, valued, important, because you are really important. I know it's sometimes super easy to not feel important, especially when there's like these really dynamic situations going on in life, but you are. And I promise, don't mistake anybody's sayings or will against you for anything else. You are important. So stick around for another day, brother.
Promise that you'll never